This month's free limit has started again. The first one is this cemetery. The overall appearance is like this. Buildings are basically just pieces put together. Let's mainly look at the functional ones. There is an interesting thing here. Around the entire cemetery, he placed a spline. It's called BP Trace Audio. Look, it's like this. There is a summary here. The core logic is to continuously monitor the player's position, calculate the nearest point on the spline, and dynamically moves the audio component to this point. It means that when the player, for example, when you move inside, the audio moves along this spline to create the feeling that something is surrounding and follow you. To save resources, he doesn't use ticks. He uses a custom event. And then after the delay, to execute this custom event, uses such a clever loop method. Here is an example. For example, in a deep valley, the player walks along an underground river. The sound of water flow is not fixed, but tied to an air spline path. When the player gets closer, the sound gets louder and smaller when they move away, and the sound source always floats above, directly above the river below the player. This is an audio approach. There is also a BPI interacting, a blueprint interface. In my previous tutorial on interactive I told you about the interface in the tutorial. Where is this blueprint interface used on this sarcophagus? Open this. You can see an interface called Interact here. After giving it this blueprint interface, it can interact with your character. This thing is referenced from the parent class. Let's take a look at the parent class to know. In the class settings, here we deploy this interface. Here is a BPI interact. It is derived from it, which all have interactive functions. Of course, there is also a better thing here, which is BP head bob. The camera shakes. For example, when you are doing some rendering animations, there is some camera shaking, which makes it look unnatural. You can try his. Let me demonstrate it for you. Let's open one randomly. We added a camera. After adding it, we added a camera shake. Here. Camera here. Camera shake. Global head bob run. After adding it, you can see that it only gives a little. Let's change it. Double-click this class. And timing. Change it to -1. Remember, change it to -1. After changing to -1s, it becomes infinity. Look, it doesn't take effect at first. Just drag it a little longer. For example, now the camera is in this position. Let's make it run forward for 5 seconds to simulate a feeling of running forward. The camera shaking blueprint class can be used in your own small projects. There is also a BPQ trigger, which is to make the character die. Let's see how to make the characters die. This blueprint is quite complicated. This should be person, which is the first person template. Let him explain. After he dies, there is a pause in movement. Oh, the camera fades out. The camera view feels like a flight. Displays death quotes. Mark as dead. Get the character to float up. To avoid falling and avoid falling animation interference. There is also a simulated slow motion respawn when it is teleported to the respawn point. Fix this position. To avoid chaos, there is a display system for death quotes here. Random text with delayed destruction. You can also use this in your own project. Look where it is. Generally, there will be a UMG component. Here, this is one of the death quotes. Add 2 viewports. Self-destruct after 5 seconds. There is also a reset sharpness. I don't know what it means. The design highlights are also written here. The death quote is loaded from the data table. It's this thing. The death text. This module can be used for such as when you shoot at each other, when the character dies and responds. This set of things. It should be no problem to make a simple one. There is another thing called physical materials. This thing is probably used on your footsteps. For example, when you run on different materials, it will make different sounds. If you always use this, it has another problem. These components here are placed in separate levels. They are not combined and placed in a group. It is placed in a separate level. There are many levels in it. For example, this platform. It is a separate level. This level is still black. It is impossible to give you lighting here because after adding light, it will conflict with the main level. Here is an advantage. For example, if I want to modify anything here, after modification, it will not affect this big place. But the problem is, if you put too many things like this, when loading, it will be slow. The environment and the fog in the distance. And there are fog pieces like this. And there is also this movable fog on it. This fog is not uncommon now. Everyone can do it themselves. It's just such a thing. What is this fog on the ground? The fog on the ground. It uses a grid body. And a volume fog material is placed on it. It's not bad. This can be reused. Although the overall effect of it, I think if you really run it, the effect is average, but it is still quite exquisite. In terms of various functions and overall design sense, he didn't cut corners. And the stones. The stones are placed quite neatly. There is also, it should be the final destination. Explore from here, and finally open this door, and enter here, and get the final key. It should be designed like this. Okay, let's take a look at the next one called Matcha. The sci-fi matcha is like this. The platform is quite good after zooming it in to display your own items. I'll zoom it in a bit. Put a car or something. Help me put AZ-10 helicopter. Let's move the light over. We can use it as a ready-made. It's a good display platform. About this matcha, it's just a shell of a little white man. Because its animation is exactly the same as that of the little white man, including the idle state in place. There aren't many additional animation assets. It's all from the little white man, so you can retarget it. And retarget it. I don't know if his fingers can be controlled. Maybe he can hold a gun with his hand. There's nothing else, including this platform. Let's make a copy of it and make it smaller. The next one is called Fantasy Props. His entire asset. He doesn't even have a level. It's all imported static meshes. All of them are imported. It's just like this. Such a thing. Zoom it in a bit. It looks like a treasure of ancient Egypt. Its material can emit light. It's emissive, which makes it glow. We can change the place where it emits light. If you want it to glow in other places, let's try it. It becomes the whole thing glowing. It will glow all over. Change this one. It will turn into blue light. Change it to pink light or red light. That's it. If you want to adjust the intensity of its glow, we can multiply it by a parameter. Or red light. Hold down S. Parameters. Multiply by 5. Multiply it. Save it. Let's make it brighter so it looks more exaggerated. There's nothing else. I think it might be used to make up the numbers or something. Or you can use these jars. You can replace its texture map first. There is a base. And enlarge it, which is specifically for these bottles and jars. Overall, this cemetery component, its functions can. It can be transplanted and reused. This jar takes up 4 gigabytes. I'm speechless. I hope it's useful to everyone. See you next time!